You possess a device offering absolute freedom and infinite choices. Yet beneath total connectivity, there is often a lingering, unshakable sense of anxiety and isolation. Sociologist Zygmunt Bauman spent his final years diagnosing the origin of this modern exhaustion, producing an 8-book series serving as a map for the present. His thesis is that we are living through a transition from solid modernity into liquid modernity. Following this shift from solid to liquid provides a lens to see why our daily lives feel like a relentless race with no finish line in sight. Solid modernity was an era defined by production. The state regulated society to ensure long-term planning, permanent communities, and collective stability. Social institutions and career paths operated on rigid structural logic, built to outlast the individuals inside them. But the melt began when the state stepped back. Market deregulation and endless consumerism washed over these structures, dissolving old anchors of identity. In liquid modernity, change moves faster than the time it takes for new patterns to settle. Long-term purpose is replaced by a hunt for immediate, temporary gratification. This melting of social foundations didn't remove the struggle for survival. It instead transferred the entire weight of that daily struggle from the collective state to the isolated individual. The logic of the market, buying a product, enjoying it briefly, and discarding it, has moved beyond the shopping mall and into our relationships. Bauman identifies this as liquid love, characterized by what he calls pocket relationships. These bonds are kept superficial so they can be terminated the moment the emotional thrill fades. In this environment, people are treated like products with a limited shelf life. This differs from the solid era, which functioned on the expectation of permanent community building. Working through interpersonal flaws was seen as a necessity rather than an inconvenience. When we apply the logic of a disposable economy to human souls, the result is a society that is hyper-connected but deeply lonely. Surveillance in the solid era relied on physical control, often illustrated by the concept of the panopticon. The architecture forced inmates to monitor their own behavior because they could never be sure if the guard in the central tower was watching. Today, that central watchtower has been decentralized. We have moved from a system of external walls to a culture of voluntary exposure. The drive for social validation leads us to treat our private lives as content. We provide the data that monitors us, surrendering privacy to ensure we aren't ignored. This constant exposure feeds liquid fear, a dread of being excluded or falling behind the rapid cycle of digital change. We traded the physical prisons of the past for a digital landscape where we are both the inmates and the guards. Constant societal flux erodes the ground where objective morality stands. When identity is fluid, the solid martyr who died for a cause is replaced by the liquid hero, celebrated for their ability to accumulate and consume. This environment fosters liquid evil. In a fragmented society, responsibility is thinned out through bureaucracy. When actions are broken into small, technical tasks, the individual no longer feels the moral weight of the final outcome. We see this when states reclassify horrific acts as practical necessities. During the 1940s, the line between treason and heroism was often determined simply by who held the power to write the rules. George Orwell warned of a world where language is used to hide truth. In liquid modernity, a distracted public can be conditioned to accept that war is peace if it is presented as a bureaucratic requirement. In this world, evil rarely looks like a monster. It looks like a widely accepted, everyday policy. The systemic failure of this era is the separation between power and politics. Power, the ability to act, has moved to the global, digital level, but politics, the ability to decide how we should act, remains trapped in local, fragmented debates. While we have tools to connect globally, we face global crises as isolated individuals, stripped of the collective safety nets promised by the previous century. Understanding this shift allows us to stop viewing systemic exhaustion as a personal failure. Recognizing the daily pressure to consume and discard is the first step towards resisting it. We find our footing by choosing to build permanent, solid connections in a world that is aggressively melting.